Greetings to you, Yeyo, Ifama, Queen. I missed you and I got your video response and I thank you. Much respect and love and hotep to you. I had so much to say in response to your video thanking the black men who defended the black woman, the black kings that defended the black queens regarding this Ethiopian's views and stereotypes. And I agree with everything you say, and I couldn't have said it better myself. I'd also like to add that, with all these stereotypes rolling around within the so-called black culture and outside that are done by other cultures, the so-called whites, the so-called Hispanics, that is being portrayed, of us, people of melanated skin, so-called black people. I find it very interesting and ironic that these people that are generating and perpetuating and repeating these stereotypes, are some of the very ones who are secretly living a double standard, and they're trying to emulate and duplicate the most detestful and the most disgusting behavior that they stereotype us with. So it's like they're double dipping and trying to unsharpen a two-edged sword. They say that, most or all black people, etc., etc. But when you look around in reference to that very same negative stereotype, you see every other culture trying to duplicate and repeat and act out and imitate the very same negative stereotype that they label us with. I see more of that than I do see them seeking out to disprove for themselves and investigate and disprove the negative stereotypes we're labeled with. Because in this day and age, I'm constantly running into people of the same culture as we, and different cultures who are still shocked when they sit down and have a conversation with myself or my husband or one of my children. They are taken aback, shocked, outdone, and under the table with the fact that the stereotype that they're so used to seeing or so used to hearing in the media and across the board of ignorant, so-called civilized, non-negative stereotypical people, is they're shocked and they're like, wow, that just shows the ignorance of those who are labeling others with stereotypes, and it's really frustrating because we have so much conflict and confusion and dementia and dysfunction within ourselves alone, based on different reasons, different things that happened in our life and in our history with our ancestors and in our heritage. We have not cleared it up and faced those issues and really healed from those things. And then we turn around and we begin these gender wars. We begin these stereotyping debates against one another. It's bad enough that, other cultures do it to us. That's been happening since the beginning of time. To have our own, within our own culture, do it to each other. So we no longer can blame the European culture who started the shit. We have to hold ourselves accountable because we're keep perpetuating that same toxic mindset, that same toxic mentality. So that's what I think about the stereotypes, and this sister who is clearly has some African heritage in her, and she clearly stated that she knows her own culture and she knows her own language. So, you know, we already been there. I won't get down into that, but it's just ironic, that we can stereotype one another based on the foundation of a false negative stereotype made up and invented by another culture because of their own ignorance to our culture, their own lack of investigation, and now it has spiraled so far out of control and become so much of a disease of the mind, and a parasitic, acidic type view. It's like a cancer. I just find that funny. That's a very ironic, double standard, hypocritical thing, you know, especially with amongst our own culture of people. And there's so many different mixtures of us, because I'm French Creole, Native American, and African. So, there's so many different mixtures of indigenous peoples here in America of melanated descent. So you're going to stereotype, make this broad generalization, and then turn around and trying to emulate the very buffoonery that you say you don't like, and that you're intimidated by it, or put off by it, or upset by it, or offended by it. And no, ACAT in particular didn't do that on film, on her videos. But I noticed after she got checked real hard by several people, the her vernacular changed up a little bit. She got a little more soul and a little more feeling into some of the things that she was saying, the way she was saying them. So, I see that across the board. I have relatives, in-laws who do that shit. On one hand, they want to turn their nose up at the negative stereotypes and behavior that we as a culture do. Yet, they attach themselves to that very same negativity, or that source of negativity that they say is offensive, hurtful, or dangerous, or where they feel fear, or they feel some type of intimidation because of that negative behavior / stereotype that we're labeled with as a whole. Excuse me. But they feel they can cherry pick the ones in which they feel don't display it as much, or what have you. That's just a little something that I thought of when you were speaking in your response video to the brothers who stood up for the queens, the melanated queens, the Nubian queens, and stood up as kings and covered the goddamn queens that are working hard to be loving mothers and wives and hold the family together and structure it as the woman should. And she realizes her equality and her match to her husband. She's not trying to emasculate and steal and destroy him and turn him into a sissy. I think that I thank the brothers for that, and I thank you, Yeyo, Ifama. Ashe, I thank you. I bow to your wisdom, and I'm honored to watch this video, because it spoke everything that I feel in my heart, because I also made a response to her, and I was, attacked too by a few, little imps regarding attacking her and judging her and all of that. So, it goes back to like what I said, Ma'at, we have to stand for something, and we have to stand and govern ourselves as well as each other. It takes a village. So, peace out. I thank you for listening, and I thank you for honoring me with your wisdom and your sound, common sense, experience, and life degree, because I pick up so much from you just from your aura. And blessings to you. Have a beautiful weekend. And I love you. Until next time.